Hi guys, my name is May Edgeline Di Pacaldo. I'm a second-year college at the University of Lapu-Lapu and Mandaue, taking up with a Bachelor of Science in Customs Administration. And for today's video, I'm going to discuss about the administrative provision under section.
Administrative provision.
Section 1. Bay Service Section or Equivalent Office. The Bay Service Section is in charge of boarding formalities and entrance and clearance of foreign vessels. It supervises and implements security measures in the discharging and loading of import and export shipments as well as the incoming, outgoing crew, passengers, and visitors on board such vessels. The Bay Service Section shall be headed by the Chief, who shall have direct supervision and control over all personnel therein. He shall issue instructions to the Customs Senior Boarding Officers and who shall in turn be held responsible for their proper execution of the instructions given from time to time and to render reports. Section 2. Uniforms and Insignia, Piers and Inspection Division. The Chief, Bay Service Section, Customs Senior Boarding Officers, Customs Inspector, Customs Guard, and Wharfingers shall also wear the appropriate prescribed uniform, insignia, nameplate, customs badge, black shoes, and regulation cap. Section 3. Duties and Responsibilities of Customs Operation Officers. The Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall have the following duties and responsibilities. Boarding incoming foreign vessels outside the breakwater harbor unless prevented by stress of weather. When boarding a vessel, the Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall be assisted by the Customs Inspector assigned on a vessel. During boarding formalities, only the Customs Senior Boarding Officer and the Customs Inspector shall be allowed to enter the captain's cabin unless the captain chooses to give the boarding information to the Customs Senior Boarding Officer outside the captain's cabin. Section 4. Duties and Responsibilities of Customs Operation Officer. Customs Inspector shall have the following duties and responsibilities. Supervise the discharge and loading of cargo, and to supervise continuous surveillance to protect the interests of the Customs Service pursuant to Section 2202 of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines as amended. Be responsible for the proper disposal of all cargo and stores on board vessels under their charge. It is their duty to see that no cargo or stores of any description are discharged from or received on the vessels without authority from the Collector of Customs or his authorized representative. Specific duties upon assuming charge of vessel. It shall be the first duty of the Customs Inspector upon assuming charge of a vessel, especially passenger vessels, to immediately assign a customs guard at each accommodation, ladder, or gangway with the instruction not allow person to board and vessels without a written pass, exception, and their doors to attend the discharging or loading of cargoes. Report after termination of duty. The Customs Inspector returning to shore after the vessel of which he has in charge has sailed or returning to station from an outport assignment shall immediately report to the Chief, Bay Service Section, or its equivalent office, and submit all reports related to his assignment to the latter, which shall properly endorse them to the Chief, Pier Inspection Division, or its equivalent office. Section 5. Port Utilization Section. The Port Utilization Section supervises the receiving, handling, custody, monitoring, movement, and release of shipment at the Pier Customs Zone. The Port Utilization Section shall be headed by a chief who shall perform the following functions. Number 1. Supervise all wharfingers, assistant wharfingers, customs guard assigned at container yards outside CYCFS and customs gatekeepers. Number 2. Act on all written reports submitted by the personnel under his supervision. Number 3. Be responsible for the conduct, vigilance, efficiency, neat and clean appearance of our personnel under him. Number 4. Require all wharfinger, assistant wharfingers, customs guard, and customs gatekeeper to be in complete uniform while on duty. Number 5. Assign his personnel properly, apportioning their overtime as fitable and as fairly as possible. Section 6. Duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operation Officers. Number 1. There shall be one wharfinger in charge of each pier who shall be responsible for the efficiency and discipline of customs personnel under him. Number 2. He shall exercise effective supervision after the arrestry contractor service regarding receiving, handling, custody, and delivery of cargoes. Number 3. You shall note carefully the condition of the fender, files, and draft at the pier and submit reports thereon. Number 4. You shall operate and assist officers and the government performing official functions at the piers. Number 5. He shall supervise the cleaning of the piers and see to it that garbage and obscenous cargoes are disposed on promptly and properly. Section 7. Duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operation Officer or designated Assistant Wharfingers. Number 1. Each cargo, or shed, or warehouse shall be under the direct charge and supervision of an assistant wharfinger, who shall maintain his office inside the shed or the warehouse. Number 2. He shall prepare, rate, and submit rating of his pier or shed warehouse customs guard to the wharfinger in charge of the pier. Number 3. He shall supervise the opening and closing of cargo, shed, warehouse. The keys shall be secured of his office and shall be returned in the box provided for in the office of the officers in charge of the pier after the shed warehouse has been closed. Number 4. He shall not allow an authorized person inside the cargo, shed, or warehouse with or without authorization. Number 5. He shall process all delivery permits pertaining to his shed or warehouse before authorizing delivery of cargoes. Section 9. Duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operation Officers or the designated Customs Gatekeeper. Number 1. A Customs Gatekeeper shall report punctually at the terminal gate assigned to him and shall remain thereat until properly received or Hoy! Saba! Section 10. Reporting time of customs personnel. The reporting time for customs senior officers, customs inspectors, and customs guards are as follows. Number 1. Customs senior boarding officers, customs inspector, and customs guards are assigned to the vessel to report at and stay in the office of the chief, piers, and inspection division or its equivalent office and observe regular working hours. Number 2. Customs senior boarding officers, customs inspector, and customs guard assigned to vessels arriving before 8 a.m. and after 5 p.m. shall report for duty at least 2 hours before the vessel's estimated of arrival. Section 11. Meals and accommodation for designated customs inspector and customs guard. On board vessel, the customs senior boarding officer shall when necessary invite the attention of the masters of the vessel to customs regulation which require the serving of meals and providing the suitable accommodation to customs inspector and customs guard assigned on board. If meals are not provided on board, the fact shall be certified by the masters or chief steward of the vessel to entitle the customs inspector and customs guard to meal allowances at the rate provided for an existing regulation. Section 12. Leave of absence. Application for vacation leave shall be filed and approved before such leave of absence is enjoyed by any officer or employee, unless prevented by unforeseen circumstances beyond his control. Application for sick leave shall be filed within 2 days after return to duty, and if in excess of 3 days shall be supported by a medical certificate. Any officers or employee detained by causes beyond his control and unable to report for duty at the prescribed hour of reporting must notify the office